purpose of this video is to show how the modern Jewish interpretation of Isaiah chapter 53 as being the nation of Israel is untenable and simply not true. Those who do not believe Isaiah chapter 53 is about the Messiah, Yeshua, that's the name of Jesus in Hebrew, will make many accusations. Let's deal with them here and now, shall we? Our rabbis tell us that Isaiah 53 is about Israel suffering, that it has nothing to do with the Messiah at all. Answer: maybe you weren't told, but many ancient Jewish sources understood Isaiah 53 as referring to the Messiah. Here are quotations from just a few of them. Here's a quotation. I'll let you read the blue, but every blue that you see here is a reference to Isaiah 53, and it is from a Jewish source. Again, these are all quotations from Jewish people, Jewish writers, Jewish sources, and they all refer to Isaiah 53 as the Messiah. There are many more quotes like these in other types of ancient Jewish literature. Again, I'm not saying that those quoted here believed in Yeshua, Jesus, as Messiah. What I'm simply saying is that those who accuse us falsely of turning this into a messianic prophecy when they say it is really about Israel are either A, lying, or B, ignorant of their own Jewish ancient writings. Next accusation they make: Israel is a servant in this chapter. Just look back at Isaiah chapter 44 verse 1, where Israel is called my servant. Answer: actually, Israel is indeed just one of the servants mentioned in the book of Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 20, the prophet Isaiah is called my servant. In Isaiah chapter 22, Elohim is called my servant. In Isaiah chapter 37, King David is called my servant. And even in Isaiah chapter 45, King Cyrus is called God's anointed. So to say that Israel is the only servant in the book of Isaiah is misleading. There is clearly more than one servant in this book. Next accusation: aren't the Gentile kings speaking in this chapter? Look at the verse just before Isaiah chapter 53. In chapter 52, verse 15, there are Gentile kings mentioned, so they are speaking. Answer: well, there are indeed Gentile kings mentioned in that verse. However, it does not logically follow that they are the ones speaking for several reasons. A, Gentile kings as a group never speak prophetically anywhere else in the book of Isaiah. B, if you read the entirety of verse 15, you will see actually the opposite is true. They shut their mouths because of the servant. Speaking and shutting their mouths are exactly opposite events. You can't have it both ways. Either the Gentile kings are speaking or they shut their mouths. The text says that they shut their mouths. Here is a view of the text which says that they shut their mouths because of him. Answer: next one is C. If the Gentile kings were speaking in Isaiah chapter 53, then there should be plural references in verse 8. It should read, for the transgression of our people, if the kings were speaking. But it does not. It reads in the singular, for the transgression of my people, meaning only one person is talking, singular. This is obviously Isaiah who wrote it, and he speaks of the transgression of his people, Israel. Here you can see the actual text, for the transgression of my people. If the kings were speaking, they would have to say for our people. But my people is what it says, which means Isaiah is speaking. Okay, if those were not enough reasons to drop the impossible claim that Isaiah chapter 53 is about Israel, here are some more reasons why Isaiah chapter 53 cannot be speaking about Israel as the servant. Point 1. The servant of Isaiah 53 is an innocent and guiltless sufferer. Israel is not described as sinless by Isaiah. In the very same book of Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 1 verse 4, it says of the nation of Israel, alas, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a brood of evildoers, children who are corrupters. That's Isaiah's words, by the way, not mine. What a far cry from the innocent and guiltless sufferer of Isaiah 53, who had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Point 2. Isaiah 53:10 says, it pleased the Lord to bruise him. Has the awful treatment of the Jewish people really been God's pleasure? Yet it makes perfect sense to say that God was pleased to have the Messiah suffer and die as our sin offering to provide us forgiveness and atonement. Point 3. The person mentioned in this passage suffers willingly. Yet all people, even Israelites, complain when they suffer. Can we really say Jewish suffering during the Holocaust and during the preceding centuries was done willingly? Point 4. The figure described in Isaiah 53 atones for his people's sins. This is important. The Hebrew word used for Isaiah 53:10 for sin offering is asham, which is a technical term from Leviticus meaning sin offering. In other words, Isaiah uses a term used from the Torah for the word sin offering to describe this servant. Point 5. It is the prophet Isaiah who is speaking in this passage. He says, "Who has believed our message?" Meaning most Jewish people will not accept it. The term message usually refers to the prophetic message, as it does in Jeremiah 49. What major message from God would qualify as such in Jewish history that most Jewish people did not believe? Who has believed our report? Here's a copy of the text where Isaiah tells God, who's going to believe our report? Point 6. The prophet speaking is Isaiah himself, who says the sufferer was punished for the transgression of my people, according to verse 8. So the servant cannot be Israel as well. Point 7. The figure of Isaiah 53 dies and is buried, according to verses 8 and 9. The people of Israel have never died as a whole. Notice in verse 9, the servant is in his grave. Yet in verse 10 it says of the servant, prolong his days. To prolong one's days after the grave only means one thing, a resurrection. Here you can see the text. On the top it says, they made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his tomb, verse 9, although he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Then you can see going on in verse 10, it says, prolong his days. So what can we conclude? Isaiah 53 cannot refer to the nation of Israel. Only if one has presupposed Jesus cannot have been the Messiah can one deny that which is obvious. Israel's greatest son, Jesus, is the one Isaiah foresaw. Following the Messiah is the most important decision you can ever make. For more information, contact us at Rock of Israel.